Chief Brisendine. I like to report an offensive comment made by a Mr. Jerry Dennehy to a member of the ERC Commission. He wants to know, Jack, if you want to file a complaint.
I'm good.
Okay, all right.
You guys do know it's on, it's already on.
Is it recording now?
I think so.
Blue lights on.
Blue lights
Well,
on.
they'll have to have it.
Does that mean it's on or off?
I don't, honestly, Bill, I don't know.
Yeah, how about you?
Kyle,
Sure.
he turned it on last time. Somebody came up and turned it on.
Allison,
Did she?
I think.
Yeah. Last time. But she said it didn't automatically do something to pull him for some button,
Something about turning it off or,
turning a button and then turn it on.
I know, but there's been no instructions. Of course, I didn't want it. I didn't like the idea.
So are they doing that, Bill, because of state board of accounts issues?
No, state law, state pass.
Oh, state law.
State
Now that-
legislation. State legislation. I think they have to do by their meeting, all meetings. Council, school board, and everything.
That's probably not a bad idea.
I mean, it's okay, I guess.
Probably not a bad idea.
Just like it.
Maybe have less hair this time. I think so. Just cut it today. Good to see you. Oh, is this a bit? Nice to meet you. Sorry. Nice to meet you. Carla wanted to come. She has another meeting this evening, so it's Kate. Yeah. She is. She's in the process. Purdue Extension, yearly.
There was another bid, higher than yours. Yes. Those, they want to build and they also Maybe you okay? Did you find that report from your deal was?
Hey, Kyle, can you tell that's turned on? You know. You, Tom?
I'm all right, Jerry, how you doing?
Okay.
This on?
Okay.
See the screen?
Is
You
it,
can't see it. If you walk around, you can see it.
so all that stuff that Jerry said to Jackie's on the video?
I don't know, I have no idea.
It'll be state evidence.
If it's green all around it, then it's good.
Is it green? Tom thought it was blue.
No, it's green.
Was it blue before?
Yeah. Was it blue earlier?
I don't remember.
So
If
green
it goes another color, it does go another color.
So green means go.
Yes, green means go. So, and there's a live.
Did you figure out how to turn it off?
Yeah, because it's full of power.
No, there's gotta be a way.
Well, I don't know.
That's what I meant, if you found out. I knew.
Nobody gave, well, my office has been trained on it, but I haven't.
So when we're done, they just pull that attachment cord off?
I don't think so. I think you could,
There's another way.
yeah, I think there's,
Now, it only goes for, it turns
It'll
itself.
automatically shut off.
Okay.
It automatically shuts off.
yeah, it's on a timer.
Automatically shuts off.
It's on a timer. You can also, yeah, pull the plug if you want. Works the same. That's what I prefer to do.
Cut and dry. What happened to that gal that used to do this system?
She went with another company.
Did she?
More responsibility, but.
Well, good for her.
In the resolution.
No, I think I know what we're supposed to do now, though. I asked the ERC plan to offer it in the comments. He said, no, unless you need it. I don't know. His card's not here. People from card are not here. He's not out there. Is this your granddaughter's last year at Oakland City?
No, she's just a junior.
Okay. Doing okay, I hope?
She's doing okay. They cut her.
That's personally how she.
Sorry to hear that.
So anyway, they kept her going to school.
Hi, Jeff. I'll just,
They kept her on. Whatever, scholarship. They get the scholarship. It's like that. Yeah. I guess that's a little bit of a silver lining on dark cloud. Yeah, that's right.
Way to put it, I guess. Well,
They sent something last week.
golf committee meeting, the next one is October sixth. Monday at 5. I know, he sent out an email. I don't know if you've seen it yet.
October 6th.
It's Monday, first Monday of October. That's 5. We'll make sure you do that. P&L statement and other things. All right, Bill and Jeff, you guys ready? I've got 5:30. Okay. Commissioners, are you ready? Bob, you ready? We're good. Tim coming tonight? Bill, is Tim coming? Go catch it. Go catch it. All right, good evening. My phone says it's 5:30. I will call this meeting into session. The Elwood Redevelopment Commission meeting will start with a roll call of Commissioners. Bob
Savage.
Kyle Moon.
Jackie Lane?
Jerry Dennehy.
Tom Austin, Tim Roby, you think he's coming, Billy?
He said he was running late.
Okay. Okay, we have two sets of minutes to approve. We have the minutes of the regular meeting from August 20th and the special meeting from August 27th. I trust everyone's had a chance to go through these sets of minutes. Does anybody have any questions?
Letter C, the park disposal.
Yeah. Callahan? Yeah. Okay. Did you note that, Jeff?
I did, thank you.
Okay. Any other corrections? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve both sets of minutes.
So moved.
We have a motion by Mr. Dunn, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. So let the minutes reflect that we took them both at the same time.
Very good.
Okay. All right, the next item on the agenda is approval of claims. Bill, it's all yours.
Well, the claims, as presented on the front page of the agenda, is correct. There's one that needs to be kind of explained. The renovation collective is for the Callaway Park project. And discussions with Allison, court treasurer, she found out that this is for material only, it's not for work done. She said it could be accepted that way, and she encouraged that to be approved. So she wanted me to pass that along. Other than that, it's just normal claims.
Are they still on a delayed start and delayed finish timeframe? We initially talked about having it done by mid-October. It appears to me, I saw in an email, it could be pushed back to be completed in November. Is that a fair statement?
I think so.
Anybody else have questions on the claims? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve the claim.
Motion by Judge Noonan, is there a second? Second by Mr. Roby, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Under old business, letter A is the Elwood Sports Complex project scope and agreement that was tabled at the August 20th meeting. Is there anybody here tonight from Card and Associates? Alan, are you going to field questions tonight? scoping agreement is approved by this body, does it then move on to the city council or the board of works?
The scoping agreement itself is an ERC document, my understanding, looking at it right now. That portion is allowed them to proceed with that part is, this body.
Okay.
Now, before we get further down the tracks, you know, with financing and things of that nature, then you're gonna need the council.
And so basically, the next part of the approval process of the BOT is the scoping agreement to provide the numbers and the financials to be reviewed by the city council to see if they want to incur the debt. What the scoping agreement will consist of is the construction, the operation, the land acquisition, all of those things would be figured into the total package price of what we would finance. And then that number would then go to the city council for consideration to issue a debt obligation. In the ERC meeting in February 2025, this board authorized the BOT to Carded Associates. So the next part of the BOT process would be for CARD to do the scoping agreement on what it would cost to build, run, operate, and acquire the property for a sports complex on the 2837 corridor. So without the scoping agreement done, there is nothing for the city council to consider. Go from there.
So therefore, at our next meeting, I'm sorry, Bob, just one more question. At our next meeting, can we expect the scoping agreement to have blank lines filled in reference to proposed completion dates?
I believe that was emailed to me later this afternoon from Billy. I think the only blank line left was highlighted.
According to Bill, Mayor, something did come out today, but it basically was the same document we had a month ago. But I've not checked, I've not been able to check my emails.
Alan forwarded it.
Alan said,
Can you look at the one you have? I didn't see the one that's in the one I have.
1253, that's what I'm looking at.
The only thing that I saw blank was the date at the very top.
I didn't get it. She didn't send it to me.
We're just trying to realize it.
Yeah, we got that, I went through it, that's all the dates.
Yeah, I was gonna say, the only date that was left blank was the one at the very top, when you would enter the agreement, as it says, it's entered into as.
Date.
Yeah, that was the only blank one that I had. I'll be glad to run some copies of that.
That's the starting point.
Correct.
On the execution of this agreement, a 30-day programming phase will begin, during which the Card Associates and the Commission shall cooperate and actively communicate. Within 45 days of the conclusion of the programming phase, they'll provide the Commission documents and drawings, including without limitation renderings, elevations.
And I've got them all on a document here, if you want me to summarize it now.
Go ahead.
So you got the property inspections, there's no time period listed in the document, so we assume that that's being done concurrently with something else. And the project site plan is 50 days from the effective date. The programming phase is 30 days, which appears to run concurrently with the project site plan. Then the schematic design documents, 45 days after the programming phase. And then the design development documents, 35 days following the project schematic design. Construction drawings and budget preparation, 45 days after the approval from the commission of the design development documents. And then the refinement process at the end is stated to be completed within 35 days. So, you know, it's hard for me to be sure I'm interpreting it right. I get the total of 200 days, and you said, you know, part of the document says to be completed within 280 days. There's some overlap somehow.
In that email that Billy also sent has
project for the city of Elwood. And from what I know about it right now, I'm 100% behind it. But I'd like the commissioners to have every opportunity presented to them to ask questions when we need to get answers to questions, is what I'm saying. I don't like to do things through an email chain necessarily. So, Alan, are you our appointment? If I have a question coming up between now and October,
You can ask, but also keep in mind, without this phase, their answers are gonna be limited, because this is trying to do the feasibility stuff that would answer some of those questions.
yeah.
So,
And I remember what the guy said last month, that there is an off-ramp. Every paragraph, there is an off-ramp.
Correct.
And I think that's important to, at least to remind me of that. But again, Alan, if we approve this tonight to move forward, absent anybody from Carter Associates, you're our go-to guy. Is that correct? As we have questions.
correct.
Okay.
But we're still on the hook for, if the project doesn't go forward, we're still on the hook for potentially $442,000.
Yeah, that is correct, but you need to do a feasibility study to understand whether this project is viable or not.
Yeah.
But it's a big ticket item to get to that point, right?
But it's an anticipation that we need to take to continue to move this thing forward, as you've seen that.
Well, I don't disagree with that, but I'm just saying it's, for where we're sitting at making the vote, it's a big ticket item. We wanna make sure if we're gonna do this, it's gonna flow all the way down to where we see it to fruition.
Correct.
That's our concern, and that's why we were requesting some discussion with other boards to make sure that they felt the same way we did.
Well, how will they know how to feel when they don't have a dollar amount to agree on?
Well, I think people need to be in the same room at the same time, elected officials, we're appointed officials on this board, but elected officials need to be brought to the table so we can have some discussions, ask somewhat of a straw poll, find out whether they are in favor of the project and funding the project, should it go.
But they don't have any of those answers until the scoping agreement's approved. And it's all anticipation.
Well, I'm not willing to just vote yes to write $442,000 check without having any kind of reassurance from down the road that, hey, yeah, we're in favor of
But if the
this.
project comes back and it's gonna cost us $100 million, I hope you wouldn't be.
But you'd want to have some discussions beforehand to do your due diligence on
But
it.
the due diligence part's in the scoping agreement. How would you do your due diligence if you don't know the operating costs?
No, not the due diligence by card, due diligence by players that are making the votes.
So they would vote on, it'd be speculatory because they have no information to vote on other than they like the sports complex or they don't.
Well, it is, a lot of this is speculatory. That's what we're
That's why
getting
we're
at.
asking for your investment today to get the numbers so we can see if it's viable.
But it's a heavy ticket item and we haven't had a lot of discussion about it. Nobody has directly approached us with discussions on the specifics of these issues and what it's gonna look like.
Why did you award the BOT to begin with then? You voted in favor of the
Well,
BOT.
I think the vote would have been different if we knew that we were committing $442,000.
What were you
talked,
voting on?
we talked about a feasibility study. To me, this is not a feasibility study. A feasibility study is, spend $10,000 if, the Cardin Associates has enough experience, that they should be able to estimate, reasonably estimate the overall impact of the project. That's not an estimate. First of all, it's not comparative to our project, and it doesn't have any financial numbers to it about the cost of the project, the cost of the bonds, all those things that go into it.
How are they gonna know what the cost of the bonds are, what they don't know what the cost of issuance is,
Well,
by the amount financed?
If that's my business, if I say we're gonna build 40,000 square feet, I know approximately what that will cost. And I know that I approximate what bonds that will be required. And then Reedy can approximate the cost of the bonds. That to me is how a feasibility study goes. This is far beyond.
So what feasibility study did you present when they came and asked money for the library? What feasibility study did you come and present when you come and ask money for the welding labs? We're spending $300,000, $400,000 at the school, and nobody's blinking an eye.
Don't get me wrong, I'm neutral on the project, but my experience is you need to know what you're dealing with before you make big commitments. I learned early on in my career, somebody gave me good advice. felt we needed to communicate, to work with the city council because they have the final say.
Once you get the numbers to see what it's going to cost, you absolutely need to work with the city council. Because they're,
Well, at that point, we don't have to work with them at that point, they're gonna make a vote, yea or nay.
Well, don't they have to have the numbers to even decide? I mean, if you don't have any facts and figures, you can't make a decision.
Well, but I'm saying at that point, they wouldn't even have to come and speak with us. Why would they even discuss it with us, cause it's already going that way, they're just gonna make a vote yea or nay. There's no discussion with us. We're just trying to make sure we don't write a check for $442,000 and doesn't turn in anything. We want it to make sure it's successful. I mean, I think
but
it's,
there are exit plans if you're uncomfortable with any stage of the process.
but you're in for 442, and it states it in there.
Well,
You can go through it.
That's not necessarily
you
true.
can stop.
That's right, unless things stop abruptly.
Yep.
If
It's
you're
stuff's not done.
uncomfortable with the design or the construction or the cost of anything, there's exit periods all the way through this clause.
But I don't think it's it's negative, I don't think it's negative toward the project that we want some discussion with other players as to what their opinions are going forward. I think that's all good, because I think this could be a game changer for the community, it
The
really
only
could.
question you can ask them is if they want a sports complex or they don't, because there's nothing to base it off of.
Have you asked them that?
No, I haven't. because
Why
I don't know-
not?
Because I don't know what the numbers are.
Do a straw poll with your city council. That's information that we probably would be like to hear.
So that would need to be done in a public meeting.
Absolutely not, it doesn't have to be, you can personally reach out to city council people and have discussions about items. And you could come to this board and say, you know what, I've spoken to the majority of the board, I feel confident about it. That's more information than we got.
Mayor,
Yes, sir.
when we did the golf course, we had several city councilmen that was not for it.
Correct.
So we kind of met with them separately. I don't know whether it's legal or not, I have no idea, but we did. And, that's why we got an attorney here.
It's rubbing his head.
If that wasn't legal, that's the first thing I've ever done in my life that wasn't legal. But I'm kinda like Kyle here, that's a lot of money if we get into. I would like to see us have a meeting with the city council members and see what their feelings are on
So when we
it.
met with
I
the-
definitely want this, I mean, I want this, but I,
When we met with the city council members, we had dollars and we had facts because we had a straw person, meaning the ECDC that was going to fund the transaction through the redevelopment commission to purchase the golf course. So the Elm Community Development Corporation was the straw person in the funding mechanism for the ERC to acquire the golf course. And then when the ERC acquired the golf course, that property was transferred to the ERC and then later transferred to the city. At that time, we had all the numbers that we needed to know because it was just a cash price of what we were gonna cost for the golf course and O'Neill's of what it was gonna cost to turn around. In this case, that is not a similar situation because the scope of work is what is going to deliver a package for a $10 million or $15 million or $5 million athletic complex that's located on corridor 28 and 37. You know, we've got set up $1 million in ready grants from SEER that Rob Sparks will be able to speak on. But there's a timeline for them now, but we have to continue to keep moving the ball or we're gonna lose $1 million in grants that were awarded to us originally.
Or we could lose 442,000 if we don't do things right.
So would you rather you lose $1 million or 400,000?
What is,
442,000 we have in the bank right now, the million we don't have.
It's already set aside for us.
what
It's
is
not
the
in our bank.
timeline for that?
Pardon me.
What is-
Rob, would you like to speak on that a little bit?
Evening. So this last meeting that happened last Wednesday, there's a lot of movement with the new governor and a lot of organizational change out, as you might imagine. So what they're looking at on this ready money is it has to have first draw by September next year, which sounds like a lot of time, but they've got projects that aren't moving. So they're putting a subcommittee together over the next 60 days, evaluate which ones are gonna go forward, and which ones aren't. And if they aren't going forward, they're gonna re-award that to other projects within the docket, so they would have time to get through the process to be able to make that first draw by September of next year. And you just explained the timeline of about 6 months, give or take. And if you start thinking about, they're not gonna wait until next July to find out what's gonna happen. So they were fairly deliberate about, we need to stay moving. And I think everybody here appreciates that, right?
So you're saying that 6 months, if we had the project going forward, approve this, you know, at the October meeting, let's say, 6 months,
I think if we had approvals within the next, sometime between the next, in the next 45 days, we're gonna be in a good position to move forward. So I understand the questions that are being asked, totally appreciate that, you guys have to do that, but there is an expiration date on that $1 million, and we just can't get into 2026 without moving this thing forward. They'll probably pull projects before then.
because I think we're talking about, and Mayor Jones, I'm not against it, I'm just, believe it or not, I'm trying to protect you, because we don't wanna make a mistake.
And on the scoping agreement you have, are you comfortable with the exit agreements that are on there?
No.
Okay, and the reason being
Well,
why?
because so much of the work is consecutive. It's not like you're going down the highway and you gotta turn here and turn here, you know. It's like all the turns are coming at once, and you've already committed those dollars. It's not consecutive, it's concurrent, a lot of this work. That's what it
Because
is.
it needs to be cohesive when they're working together with the, real estate, the drainage, the building, the design, where it's gonna sit, all of those things are all gonna have to be consecutive or cohesive, because it's like building a house. You can't let your plumber come in and then wait and now your electrician's coming in. You know, those guys are all working together for a finished project.
That was the question I was gonna have, you know, for Mr. Carter. But from the reading of the documents, the agreement is not necessarily that way. It appears that in a lot of cases, they'll be doing different things, you know, multiple phases at the same time. That could be wrong.
And there's 4 different organizations that are responsible for that. So there's the acquisition for CARD, then there's the part that Aegis is working on, KRM is working on a piece, and then the 4th company would be Garmon.
Yeah, and that's part of the reason I think it's, a lot of it's being done concurrently, because you got multiple vendors or providers working at the same time.
Right, so let me ask this question, going to paragraph 3.2. Project site plan. I don't have the newest one that has the dates. What's the date on 3.2, Block? Number of days?
50 days.
Okay. I don't see anywhere in the agreement where I may be overlooking it, but I don't see a number attached to the work to be done on the project site plan. Is that correct?
No, that's 3.2.
No, I know that. But I'm saying, there's not, the project site plan has X number of days allocated for that to be done.
50 days.
Yes, but is there a price for that 50 days?
That's part of the issue.
Yeah, that's part of what
And
you're
that's-
talking about.
Yeah. I guess I was expecting to see me to get for each of the components a number of days, because I did not have a document that had the days. I was not at home to run it off. And I also expected,
I apologize for, it was in the Word document on the email, and I looked at the Word document, and the first one was blank. I just figured it was all blank, I didn't go through it, because the other one was what, the PDF file was all blank.
okay.
Nobody had told me ahead of time that the Word document was filled out, so I apologize for that.
No, it's nobody's fault. I've been
It is
unable,
my fault, I should have printed that Word document.
I've been unable to access that document for reasons I'm not worried with. But the question is, now that we have a revised document, each paragraph should also have a number. That's what I'm struggling with, Todd, is
It does.
in a dollar amount.
So for Aegis, for instance, their scope of work would be for the design, and what that consists of is a design survey.
That's not what he's asking. That's not what he's asking. He's asking if there's a number. Is that?
Yeah, what I'm asking is, each component of this proposed agreement, paragraph 3.2, 3.3, the next page is 3.4, 3.5, 3.6. We all have, there are now dates for each of those components.
So you're wanting prices on those two?
But I don't see in Article 4, the scoping cost. It would help me if each of those paragraphs not only had a completion timeline, X number of days, but a cost.
Make that come up there.
Yeah.
It's got the total cost, but it doesn't have how it's broken down.
Right.
That's what he's talking about. Or maybe I don't.
Because here's Aegis, and what they have is for their design survey plan. Have you not seen any of these? So this breaks down every single cost for what Aegis is going to do for their site plan survey.
Let me double check that. I don't think I've ever seen that before.
KRM, what their cost is, and what they would be doing.
We haven't got that.
You don't have that one, okay, that was sent today. And I can run copies of that for everyone.
That would be very helpful.
But yeah, here, it breaks everything down for what the design fee is for part one.
Okay.
Bob, do you have it?
No, not written down.
Okay, so we need 7 copies? 8 copies?
Jeff, I think we're careening towards a special meeting.
Or the alternative, we can continue this one.
Well, whatever is best, whatever is proper. I would feel more comfortable having a little bit of a reset, come back again in a week or 2 weeks, so we can give Alan and Mayor some direction on what we know we have, what we understand we have, and hopefully keep this dialogue alive, if that makes
Is
sense.
it possible, Jeff, to have a meeting, whether it's public or not, with the city council?
Sure, public, certainly.
So why don't we have a public meeting and discuss it? Well, we asked for a meeting last time, and the last
We
meeting,
talked about
our
it.
meeting got canceled for other reasons.
We had talked about an executive session, a joint executive session.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, and that was under the, I was under the impression at the time that the option to purchase the land was contingent upon it turning into a sports complex. And in which case, the council could then fit under the real estate umbrella exception. Executive session. I am now under the understanding that the option is not necessarily has that language. And so that kind of ruled out the council from fitting under the real estate, but from a public meeting, absolutely. Those bodies can meet it. This body and the council can meet at any time.
We don't have the final option agreement, right? But if we
Well, if we set a meeting, we might have a
which
budget.
seems to make sense, then we could have an executive session.
Yes, with the council. If the real estate cannot possibly be purchased without the council, then yeah, you can start bringing them in. However, if you don't, this body by itself can acquire the land with these options, with options, with this additional funds, with our fund, with your TIP fund, with these grants, that land can be acquired. So you don't need the council at that point. But if it is required to be a sports complex, that clearly cannot be done without the council. You can't build that sports
But if
complex.
it's required to be a sports complex, and that kicks, if it's required to be a sports complex, and that kicks it out.
Yeah, it's, that changes the dynamic, at least arguably. I'm reading the executive session laws broadly.
We prefer to use,
Yeah.
case of a sports complex with the city council that's saying there's no way to do it. So it's all integrated into the purchase.
I read it. Yes.
So what's your suggestion on that? If we wanna have a meeting, what's your suggestion?
Public.
Okay.
Talking general.
Just make it public and you don't have to worry about
Yeah,
it.
I mean, because a project of this nature, you don't wanna come by with a violation of the.
That's right, that's right.
And that would be a special public meeting.
Yeah, it'd be a special.
We would not wait until the October city council meeting to
You could.
join in on that, but does that still is that still within the time frame? The first Monday of October.
We said 45 days.
You still have to meet after that to vote on the agreement.
All right.
It could.
But the public meeting, the joint meeting, is the commission able to take action?
Sure. It's a public meeting, and it'll be noticed. Yeah, you can take final
So
action
we
at that time.
potentially could
Approved?
work things out.
We need to work it out with the council. I mean, they're gonna be sitting in these chairs, and it's their night.
And it would probably also be helpful to have Mr. Card here if you've got questions.
Or somebody from there.
We could convene the joint meeting and then adjourn the ERC meeting and let the council carry out their business.
Council.
Well, I think we mind you that that's a budget passing, salary ordinance passing, that's already.
Well, those are usually really easy to notate.
It's already gonna be a long meeting in October, because we have to do the budget, salary ordinances, and all of that.
Well, we're talking about a special meeting.
Okay, I thought he was talking about the October meeting.
It'd be a different night, is what you're talking about, Bob. Different night. That's fine.
So let me propose a date for everybody. I'm proposing the date, this would affect the council as well for a joint special public meeting. I'm proposing the date of Wednesday, October 1st. What time do you typically meet, David?
6:30, after the board of works meeting.
Okay. But this would be a special meeting, so we can,
That's what time we
yeah.
want to meet.
What about October 1st, special meeting with the council, public meeting?
It's up to you guys.
It kind of depends on people's schedule, right?
I'm only one seven, so.
We'll send out
You
requests.
can't control everybody.
No, I don't.
See if that's available.
And then, maybe look at Thursday, October 2nd as a backup date.
Okay.
I'd like to do it in a timeframe and in an environment where we can ask a lot of questions of each other, council, ERC people.
Yeah.
I think that's important. So when the mayor comes back, I think we'll just tell him that we're gonna try to meet on the 1st or the 2nd. And between now and then, we'll prepare, do the best we can, do our homework so we can make the right decision that night.
And the second would work too, because that's the first Thursday of the month.
Okay.
So no, we wouldn't be in here for court.
You would not be in here. Okay. That's my recommendation to the commissioners. First or the second.
That's planning commission board of PZA.
That's right.
What is it?
Planning commission and board of zoning appeals.
On what day?
First Thursday, not the second.
Okay.
They mean here?
Yes.
Could it meet upstairs?
I think that'd be recorded.
Good.
It might be better for us to meet upstairs. Oh, yeah, it's gotta be.
I'll be recorded now.
What time do they meet, Bill?
5:30 and 6.
Could it be done by 6:30?
Probably.
We can do 6:30.
Well, let's focus on 6:30 on the 1st or on the 2nd and see what happens.
Okay.
The first is a Wednesday, the first is where it's set the second.
First or the second? Second's great, but I mean, I think we're gonna have to,
Well, propose the 1st.
I simply want,
Jeff?
we want a card representative at the meeting.
Yes. Definitely.
I would prefer the second, but I mean, if everybody else is good with the first, that's fine.
If it's all right with the commission, I'll throw a vote out there to the council.
think what we're saying at this point is that we will continue to table this item until that special meeting
Yes.
and prepare ourselves to ask questions and make the right decision that night if we can.
And make a motion at the table.
Yeah, all right, we have a motion from Kyle.
Mr. President, we table for, till, we, table for the time being to be placed on the agenda later hearing, or later meeting.
Is there a second to Kyle's motion?
Second.
Second by Mr. Donahue, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Bill?
Jeff,
Bob?
question. If there's difficulty getting the council members together on one of those two dates, you're not going to take any action at that meeting. Do you need a quorum?
No.
So, in other words, you could send representatives if you can't get everybody, given the time frame of trying to move quickly. Does that make sense?
Well, I wouldn't be able to make it, I'd be up to them.
I know,
Yeah.
but does it make sense that,
I mean, you're gonna try to get, we tried this not too long ago, and we couldn't come up with a date and a time that everybody was gonna be able to go there, and I don't think you're gonna do that now.
that's exactly what I'm getting at.
But I
So
think,
you had 2 members, 4 members, or 3,
But
and
here's-
everyone's comfortable.
but here's the thing, I think it's important enough as a public meeting, that as an elected official, they would want to attend, and that's something preventing them from attending. It's important enough they should want to
You
attend.
should probably let them pick the date then. If you're saying just because they're elected and you're not, then you should make a date then that they'll all have to come to the meeting.
I think we are, we're just
Yeah.
suggesting these dates. And then,
I have no idea what the schedules are.
You want to offer a date?
no, I think we're just suggesting a date.
Well,
to
that's
get the process.
ask you, but you don't want to offer.
I speak for me, nobody else.
All right, so we made the motion, and when the mayor comes in, we'll update him. Can we move on to 1145 North Anderson Street now? All right, Bill?
There's no other offer been made. We had one offer last month that was $84,200. And we just need to wait till the next month. It's a 60-day period.
Okay.
And then you guys can decide, you can decide on the offer, accepting the offer.
Because we didn't have an offer high enough to meet the,
We didn't have a full price offer. They would have, I guess, they told me they probably would have submitted a full price offer if they didn't know the appraised value, but it's close anyways.
and somebody else could come in tomorrow and say $1,000 more or whatever, but it's up to us.
Yes.
But we
So-
haven't had any more bids.
No, we had somebody call the office and ask if they could, and we told them yes, and they're out here.
So Dennis, can you at least come to the back to the next meeting? Maybe we can finalize this. It's my understanding that you're gonna build that garage so it faces north, is that right?
I'm not gonna build that, I'm just gonna put a
Well-
wall on it, that's it.
Okay. It's gonna face north.
No, the door will face my house,
Which is sad.
me, east.
East, okay, all right. That helps, thank you. All right, so I'm gonna make a suggestion to the commissioners. We have 2 gentlemen here at the Cesco tonight who've been sitting there patiently and quietly, so I would like to suggest we discuss those 2 gentlemen, this proposed work plan, and we can hopefully get them on the way. So gentlemen, if you don't mind, we'll get you going home.
Oh, no problem. Good evening, Brad Adams, Cesco Group.
Good evening.
From the Cesco Group. Thanks for having us. The purpose for our presence here is to request approval for a budget that provides a lot of time to develop a groundwater sampling work plan at this item. Before I go into that, I'll kind of explain the background. This is in regards to the state plating facility. So we did the remediation work, and then we did 8 quarters of groundwater sampling on the site. Submitted those reports to IDEM. And so the last sample last fall, we had 3 wells off-site. If you're familiar with the property, to the southwest, there's a big pasture area. So we had 3 wells that were inaccessible, and those were wells that were put in by another consultant years ago. When those were installed, they put them flush mount covers in the ground instead of a stick-up pipe, so they're very, very difficult to find. So those were inaccessible, so we knew we'd have a data gap because I didn't really needed results from those 3 monitoring wells off-site. So I talked to IDEM at that point in time. They knew we'd have to go back and do some groundwater sampling. And so fast forward to July, I followed up with the IDEM project manager, and he issued comments via an email. So Bill and I were on the receiving end of that email. It's pretty lengthy. What they did was copy and paste basically the comments from the risk reviewer and also the geology reviewer. Normally what they do is they submit a formal comment letter on IDEM letterhead. And the IDEM project managers, they have the ability to kind of sift through the comments and determine what's important to them and what's not. But instead they did a kind of a copy and paste of everything. So they requested a lot of information and a lot more work. And so that is exactly the opposite of what we were expecting. So I know Bill, we talked to David Ridley, the project manager at IDEM. I did too last Monday. And so we're on track now to just go out and collect some additional groundwater sampling off-site and some on-site. And those are to fill in data gaps. And we actually had in the original budget, in all along, we had a budget set aside for any kind of data gap issues. Because it does happen in the nature of our work. It all depends on the distance of wells between one another, direction of groundwater flow, and those sorts of things. So the IDEM project manager at this point is just requiring some additional groundwater sampling. And this budget we presented is just that. So we're communicating with IDEM, developing this work plan, going over all the budgets, also developing obviously the written work plan. That's going to specify to IDEM, it's going to show them a figure, the locations, and the number of groundwater samples. Once IDEM reviews the work plan, we'll develop another budget to actually go out and do the work, and that'll be presented to the board. Does everyone have a copy of our proposal? Okay. So, kind of went through that. The budget is $8,387. And then down at the bottom, kind of in the middle of that second page, kind of went through the remaining scopes of work. And right now, we're completely on track. Everything we proposed right here was in the original proposal, if you will, original budget. And so right now we have, if everything goes as we planned with the additional groundwater sampling, the reporting item, if everything goes to plan, we have about $132,000 left to work to do out there on the site. That includes all the project management, the reporting, responding to IDEM, monitoring well abandonment, and the environmental restrictive covenants in order to close the site out. So right now the current settlement balance is around $1.1 million. And then if all goes as planned, as we hope, the estimated settlement balance at the conclusion of the project will be in a neighborhood of about $978,000. So there's a lot of assumptions in that. That would include if IDEM agrees with the groundwater sampling, depends on the results. That's kind of where we're at though. So we're trying to do, call it the minimum amount of work that IDEM would require to get the site pushed to closure. So we're very in tune with the budget. We want to make sure that there's money left over in the settlement balance. Any questions?
That's pretty clear, thank you.
Just one question, so the amount that you put is based on everything continues as it has been going, as far as the sampling goes, and not foreseeing any hiccups?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, our assumption right now is to do this additional groundwater sampling, and I have a line item in there, underneath the remaining scope of work for $50,000. Once IDEM comes back for review and approval of that, we'll put a budget together that'll be honed down to a more specific amount. That should cover that amount for additional sampling. Because if you have a copy of the IDEM comments in there. One of the comments talked about additional groundwater remediation and all this sort of
portions of the project, so it could just be the concentration data. They don't have any sort of perspective of the project. They're kind of just technical folks that look at certain parts of the report and get their comments.
So you're telling us that, IDM is really your boss?
Well, we don't see him as our boss, no. We have a really good relationship with IDEM, but
Just ask my question, yes or no?
no, they're not our boss, no.
He's not your boss?
No. What do you mean, you say bid or IDEM?
I did.
You know, you guys have been doing this for 5 years.
Right.
I'm kinda sick of it myself.
Okay.
I can't understand people that's intelligent. And then they come back in 5 years and say, hey, you guys aren't even close of doing what we want you to do. I'm talking about the idea. Right? Is this what they told you?
Right. And what part of that project is that it does take a long period of time to want to get approval from IDEM, to get their comments back, and then to do the remediation work. We were monitoring for 2 years. That was all our remediation work plan that got approved by IDEM.
Yeah.
So we didn't move things along in the proper fashion.
So they won't clear this until you satisfy them.
Correct.
So I would say that is probably your boss.
No, I understand what you're saying, but
Okay?
we
They're
definitely.
your boss, one way or the other.
So we do stand up to them. We definitely, there's a lot of behind the scenes, a lot of pushback that we do with IDEM. And there's a lot of variability, we can attest to this too, that depending on the project manager at hand, a lot of them are a lot more lenient, some of them are not lenient at all. Even though there's a set of standards that go off of, there is a lot of variability there that you can see.
So just because those guys aren't here anymore, you want us to spend $132,000 to correct this?
Well, that was all, actually, all these costs right here were actually in the original budget, so it was part of the original proposal set out from the onset of remediation work plan approval. So we're still right in line with.
Well, I heard her at a meeting, we asked you how long that you're gonna be, and you told us what that was. You remember what that was?
It was a year and a half ago when I was here. We talked about doing the remediation, the groundwater sampling in 2024. And then our hope was, depending on IDEM comments, would be to close it out this year. But obviously, it took IDEM a few months to issue comments from March until July.
Well, sitting here, you want us to pay that much money to correct what you haven't done?
Well, what is this?
Am I correct on that? That we're supposed to pay you that amount of money because you haven't done these items up above? Yes or no?
I understand what you're saying. Yes, we're asking approval for the allotment of the budgets we covered down here. I will say that we've done everything that we proposed in the right fashion, and Bill can attest to kind of reports to IDEM and the reporting and so forth. So we're still on track. It's just sometimes these projects, there are delays in the project. We haven't delayed it. A lot of times it's delays of comments from the state and so forth. And
Yeah, I know you got a lot of hoops you gotta clear. I understand that.
yeah.
So are you saying you're still within, you expect to be within the original budget?
Correct.
Contract?
For sure. I said, we're still at around $1.1 million in the balance. And if this goes as we plan, around $978,000 plus or minus at the end of the project.
And that's assuming you get some adjustments from IDEM, or is it the way they are, the position they're on in now?
Yeah, my discussion with the IDEM project manager has indicated that he expects this additional groundwater sampling to fill in the gaps, fill the data gaps. And at that point, we should be in good shape to get the project closer to closure without any further sampling or remediation, obviously.
So just to restate it, with their proposed change, or their recommendations or requirements, we'll still be within the original budget.
Correct. Exactly.
All right, Brad, let me, on that same page 2 of 2,
Sure.
where you have the list of estimated costs. So So what you're saying to us is that when all those items are taken care of, which includes the groundwater sampling work plan, we're gonna pay $132,848.76. We will have left $878,877, which would be set aside in our special account for.
979.
I don't have my glasses. 978, sorry about that.
You just lost it.
I just lost it. So, that would continue to be set aside in the state planning project. It would just stay there.
Actually, when we get the no further action letter,
It'd be ours.
and everything else, then it will be our money, and then once everything, we get all that.
Then Jeff Crampton issue is good deal.
Okay.
Jerry, I did him as the boss.
Huh?
I did him as the boss.
That's all right.
And I've talked to IDM myself to make sure, they're doing what they need to do, and they assured me that they are. So I had the same question you did. I just wondered.
I'm just thinking, out loud, I mean, if I was in your guys' shoes, and I know I've gotta satisfy this other company at the end, I think I would ask them what you wanted me to do from the beginning.
They did.
And they didn't mention any of this other stuff, that we gotta pay now for what we haven't done?
Yeah, I don't regard these costs as, we didn't make any kind of errors and there's no omissions to speak of. So these projects, like I said, these were inaccessible wells that we couldn't access. If those would have been wells we would have installed, we would have put a stick-up pipe above ground, and they would have been easily found, and we would have sampled them. But that area is full of, inches to feet full of manure, and there's cows out there, and piles of debris. You guys have probably seen the site. We just drove by actually before the meeting. First time I didn't see the site. But anyhow, like I said, we're still on track to do this. And these projects sometimes aren't exactly a black and white. Things change, data changes, data is variable. It's just kind of nature of the beast, unfortunately. I wish I had a magic wand to go, hey, we're going to be done on December 1st, and this is exactly the amount of money you're going to have left. I would say the good news is that there is a settlement amount, there is money set aside for this. And I've always told Bill, we always watch the budget. We always make good stewards of that, I think, and try to be transparent with all our budgets.
You entertain a budget, Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Motion,
Please.
Judge, motion to accept the request from Cisco.
All right, thank you.
Is there a second to that motion? Second by Tim, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Gentlemen, thank you.
All right, thank you. Bill, you can hang out until it's over, or we good then?
I would beat you up another out, yeah.
I'll say it.
Okay.
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 Thank you so much.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Let's go back up to old business, letter C. Mr. Graham, I'll follow your lead on that. That's the reworking of a resolution, as I call it.
For the school.
Yeah, this resolution, simply, kind of what we talked about last night. Does anyone have any questions on it?
No.
I think it's fairly self-explanatory. It just limits the amount of TIF proceeds that go for the school project, which is one, the allowable amount. We overestimated, through no one's fault, overestimated what the TIF draw would be, and, this new resolution reflects the actual amount.
Well, since our last meeting, it's my understanding that the adult basic education staff found a solution to their funding shortfall. So that kind of went away, so. On that point, I'll entertain a motion to approve resolution number ERC 2025-08-01.
Motion made.
Motion by Judge Newman, is there a second? Second by Mr. Donahue. All in favor, say aye. Last item I have for tonight is Bill Gross storage containers. What should we do on that, Bill?
I copied the email that sent, gave to everybody. I don't know where mine is. Well, there it is. The email, they're interested in, first off, couldn't make the meeting, he's out of Chicago. He was gonna call in, or I would call him, and I called him and talked to him today, and the timing wasn't good for his, he had personal business to take care of, so I just told him we'd discuss it, and he kind of wanted more of an idea of what we thought would work from us, and or just, acknowledgement whether you'd be interested in moving forward with it. If you think we ought to pursue looking into it further. To that
In my opinion, folks, given the location of the property and what he would like to do, I would, on my behalf, I think if we move forward with caution, but I would like for the guy to come here.
I don't know if he'll ever come, yeah.
Well, they should call in.
Yeah, we should call in.
I'd like to hear a live voice and talk to him about
He
this.
said next month would be better, I mean, kind of what he told me
Set
today.
him up for Zoom.
Yeah.
You can put him on the thing right here.
Didn't he propose a dollar amount of any sort?
Now, I explained that to him as far as, we have to calculate, if we're gonna lease something, we have to calculate fair market value. He did mention $150 per container.
We can keep it under a certain threshold now, probably get around that, or you have to pay for a lease agreements.
Yeah. That'd be great when we do that. We got a generalized amount of what they're thinking. Jeff said we may be able to figure out a way to.
What I would suggest, Jeff and Bill, is that we ask him to participate via Zoom in October, so we can have a live conversation with this guy. Okay?
I think it might be something that's favorable.
Yep, I do too.
I think it didn't say what term was 1 year. So we might have no further action letter, and that, the stuff from my end that we need to sell the property, but this could be an interim use.
Do we have an agreement or just a general proposal of terms?
For what?
Well, we got to create on these.
Yeah, this is all we got to see now.
Do we need to have an agreement?
Oh, yeah, we have an agreement, yeah. And Jeff's gonna be working on that.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations, Jeff. Now we know who your boss is. Okay.
I told, today when I talked to him, actually, I was a little disappointed. I thought he would follow up with a narrative, more narrative information, because first he said, we've got that information. I said, well, yeah, that's a list of items. I said, I thought you'd write something out a little more, like a presentation. And then, so, he was, so basically, just, I don't know if you need to take a vote on moving forward with it, or.
No. I'm suggesting that we
Take
take
talk to him.
until, and invite him to participate in live Zoom meeting.
Make a motion, we table it.
Okay, that's good.
Thank you. Can I have a second to that motion? Second by Jerry. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Jerry, second. I think Mr. Abernathy would like to make
I
a
want to
comment.
speak on behalf of the council that we be provided copies of all the documents that pertain to this, the lot. Well, I had that one, but you've changed it now.
We just got new ones, so. we'll
Yeah,
get you
and
one.
then all the other agreements, so that we get a chance to see the whole picture.
Sure.
Yeah, and not wait till that night to get
Oh,
copies.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Here's one that's down in Blacksville.
I've already got one to go glass.
Well, hey, you got this property.
You guys, back in whatever date the mayor said, you signed an agreement.
But that was the,
That was in February. wasn't it?
February.
Yeah, but that pertains to this policy too.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah, and then there's an agreement for them to manage it, is that?
That was the BOT. That was what,
But
that was what we
all the
agreed.
details in on that, because I think that would make an impact
Sure.
as to what we want to do.
Yeah.
At least it would make,
Absolutely.
okay?
We'll get that information to you, David. So our next meeting, folks, is on Wednesday, October 15th at 5:30, but we will hope to have a meeting early October on a date yet to be selected.
Maybe Sunday afternoon.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
Here's one thing I would suggest, Mr. President, is that for some reason we can't have this meeting before our next meeting. Is there a reason to put this on the agenda again, next meeting, or should we wait until this meeting is had before it goes back on the agenda?
I think we ought to have the meeting before it reemerges on an agenda.
Thank you.
Yeah. I don't want to falsely put something on an agenda and then we can't deal with it.
Okay.
I want to deal with it once it's on.
Motion to adjourn.
Second by Tim. Thank you. All in favor? Appreciate it.
When we built the
Yeah. Gotcha.
Well, the architects, but these people.
Good job, Jerry.
To go out and do that.
I said good
Should have been somebody else.
Well, you started to feel like
I wonder if that too.
They know,
Bill, I've got to
he
leave.
told me the cost,
We know where I'm going.
Hey, you don't sign that. You just
Yeah.